Check, check. Can everyone hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
There we go.
Thank you for the $2 dono, Big Mac. And thank you for the $2.79 from Server Nerve. That's what we should just do. That we'll just start scripting. We'll get people to donate because we don't have your audio on.
There we go. Yeah.
Nothing
we didn't plan it, I swear.
The shakedown continues through the summer. So Happy Gilmore 2 came out. Me and Crystal watched it last night. It's one of those things where you're a little worried because obviously a movie like Zoolander 2 was absolute trash and essentially ruins the original, right? Like it doesn't live up at all. What did you think about Happy Gilmore 2?
You know what? I liked it. I mean, I enjoyed the entire movie, right? Like it gets a little hokey at the end, obviously, with like the whole maxi golf thing. But I mean, they're kind of poking a little bit of fun at Live Golf and the whole separation of the tours and that sort of thing. So it does kind of parody the real world, how some people do look at Live Golf as like a bit of a circus. You know, obviously it's a satire, so you go and you push that edge and you make it a little more, you know, exaggerated, but I thought it was great. All the cameos, all the actual pros wanting to get involved and everything like that. And I quite enjoyed it. You know, all the callbacks and stuff, touches on the nostalgia for some of us older fans of Happy Gilmore. Obviously, it's been 30 years for a lot of us since, well, almost 30 years since we were able to first watch that movie. So it was great to really feel like it had enough of the old one in it. And then, of course, the way they paid homage to all the actors who have passed away that should have been in the movie but couldn't be in it for obvious reasons. I enjoyed it from start to finish, and I think anyone who's a fan of Happy Gilmore, you know, if as long as you go with an open mind of it not being the first Happy Gilmore. I think it's a really enjoyable watch, and I recommend everyone checking it out.
Yeah, very much worth it. And in some sense, I almost felt like it was almost like two separate movies kind of slapped together, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing because the first hour of the movie has this almost kind of like own separate plot where I'm not going to spoil anything, but and then the second half is kind of like it picks it up where they kind of like it's almost like there's a conclusion in the middle of the movie, and then all of a sudden for the last half of the movie they start they have some new problems they have to deal with. But both sides of it were really, really fun. They never got too over the top, which, unlike what I mentioned with Zoolander 2, where I almost felt like they were trying to get weirder than they did in the first one, where I think with Happy Gilmore 2, what we saw was, it just comes down to Adam Sandler, how he's changed over the last 29 years too, right? Because he's won some huge awards for a whole bunch of different things like acting and scripting and all these kinds of things. So you can definitely see that as a filmmaker too, Adam Sandler has come a long way because it did have that kind of same like goofy feel as Happy Gilmore, but it almost, you could see it's kind of like a more mature Adam Sandler already still in this movie. But like I said, I give it 2 thumbs up. I highly recommend watching it. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, of course. And I love to see how he got his family involved. You know, his wife and his 2 daughters were in the movie and played, you know, pivotal roles in the movie. So, you know, it was really cool to see that. You love the little tidbits if you're a big Happy Gilmore fan that you pick up on, like all his kids, his 4 sons being named after all the hockey greats.
Yeah.
And you know, and then obviously the one named Terry is after Terry O'Reilly, the Tasmanian Devil, his favorite player when he was a kid. So it's just really cool to see all those little Easter eggs, I guess you call them, hidden within the movie, and kind of just the hidden jokes that if you're a true fan, you'll notice.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too, where they did a good job of making those inside jokes, but also it's almost like when you're watching like certain movies growing up as a kid, you didn't understand the humor. So it's like, you don't have to understand the humor. There's still stuff that you're going to enjoy in it. So there's a lot of like Easter egg and stuff, but you're not going to miss out on anything if you didn't understand it. You're still going to laugh at a lot of the stuff that's going on.
Oh, for sure. And to see the PGA guys who being goofy and stuff and just fanboying, it's just a great time.
There was a question here for you, Dustin, from Swerve and Irvin. He says, Dusty, would you have paid to see it in theaters?
Oh, of course. I mean, I'm such a huge Happy Gilmore fan. I would have been there day one. I mean, I watched it first thing this morning, pretty much when I woke up.
Yeah.
Or Friday morning when I woke up. So I wasn't wasting any time to check that one off the list.
Yeah, yeah. Crystal enjoyed it too, and she's a little younger than me, so but she still had seen the first one, and even for people who are not the same age as me and Dusty would still enjoy it a lot. So I highly recommend checking it out.
For sure.
All right, let's move. I didn't show this, but I mean, you didn't really need to see it. I had a graphic for it, but let's jump on to the next thing because obviously we're into the season where everyone's looking for content. So on Reddit, I'm still checking pretty much every day. But the nice thing is this one came out from Matthew. I'm not going to try and say his last name, but compiling all the lists from Evolve Hockey, pretty much ranking all of the defenses as they sit right now in the NHL based on GAR, which is goals above replacement. And the Vancouver Canucks sit in 6th. Do you think that's pretty much bang on, or do you think they should be higher, should be lower?
I think given the youth of the D-core right now, that's a pretty good preseason assessment. I think we will see them rapidly move up that list, especially given the stuff we saw out of Victor Mancini in the Calder Cup playoffs. I mean, he should, in theory, be up on the big club next year. Hronik likely has a bounce back season. He didn't have the greatest season last year offensively, so hopefully we get more out of him. And we know what him and Quinn do defensively, so that's going to improve those numbers as well. And yeah, I just think that having a chance to limit Myers minutes with guys like Mancini and DPD is really going to push this defense even further. We talked about it plenty this season, how the depth on D is like the most the Canucks have seen in years. And so, it's almost embarrassing how much we have even waiting on non-roster defense to fill in. I mean, Kirill Kudryavtsev had a huge breakout playoff performance. You have Tom Wielander looking to come into the lineup. You have insulating pieces like Guillaume Brisebois and guys like that. And you still have Sawyer Mignot, who's another young player who looks promising. So no shortage at all in the defensive cabinet. And I only see this number going up with the depth that we have.
Yeah, it's pretty nice to have that, because going into last season, obviously we're like, Desharnais and Forbort. And we love Forbort now. It took him a minute to settle into the team, but there's a huge difference between that and having a Willander or a Mancini or a EPD, a DPD in that third pair. So that's a huge upgrade. And yeah, I think I pretty much, I have the same feeling. I've been saying to everyone, like, Canucks defense as it sits right now is probably like top 6 in the league. So I agree with that completely.
Yep.
Big Mac throwing out a gifted membership, going over to Andrew. So Andrew receiving a free gifted membership courtesy of Big Mac. And we're gonna keep putting the money into Dobby's college education fund until next season starts, and then it'll start going into Crystal's spa fund so she can get away from all the increasingly large amount of streams that we're going to be doing coming up. So still going to Dobby's college education fund. He needs to learn some more. He's a unruly little boy and he needs to learn some manners. Just the tip, just to see how it feels. So
I started.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Dustin. So very similar. Last week, I think we were talking about the goals by area in the NHL. So another list that came out, and they've essentially broken it down. So it's goals by by shot type. So we got Nazem Kadri led the league with wrist shots. He had 28 goals, which is very impressive. Almost 30 goals with the wrist shot. You got the snapshot. It has Leon Draisaitl. You've got the slap shot with Kevin Fiala, which I was a little surprised on. I thought you might see one of the defensemen with this, maybe a Bouchard, but Fiala coming out with that. And then Braden Point with the backhand, 8 of his whatever goals he had right in the crease there with the backhand. But just the tip, just to see how it feels. Brock Besser, the second most tip in goals in the entire league behind Alex Tuck last year with 9. Does that surprise you, or is that pretty much par for the course for the man who's been spending more and more time in front of the net over the course of his career?
Well, I think it just shows you the offensive strategy that Tocchet was employing. I mean, he wasn't exactly playing to Besser's strengths. I mean, I'd love to see Besser on that wrist shot list, not on the tip in list. I do like seeing Jake DeBrusk right behind him there because that is the style of goal that Jake DeBrusk is supposed to get. He's supposed to be that net front presence that gets the dirty area goals. I mean, that those were the type of goals that he used to get in Boston, and that was why they signed him as a free agent. Unfortunately, he wasn't put in the best positions to succeed last year, and maybe wasn't the best player coach mix with Tocchet. So, maybe DeBrusk stays high on this list of tipped in goals, and we see Besser back on like the wrist shot list at the end of next season.
I wouldn't mind that at all, actually. Besser with some more wrist shots, because yeah, while he did get a decent amount of goals, we still definitely want to see him maybe get back up to that 40 goal mark. And with the depth in forwards, you never know. It is possible. And like I said, now I'm starting to think Kane probably deserves to be on a third line, so that maybe some more minutes being thrown his way to Besser. So who knows? Everything went wrong last year, so it's got to be an upswing this year, right? Like it absolutely has to be a turnaround.
Oh, for sure. And I'd really like to see them utilize Besser in the bumper position with his shot, if he's healthy. And you have Petey feeding him the puck constantly for wrist shots or one-timers in the slot. They got to get somebody in that spot, getting shots on net. And I hope it's Besser, because he's probably got one of the best shots on the team when he has the confidence and has the confidence of the coach in him. So I would expect everyone pretty much to bounce back this season. You always see guys, there's always a bit of a boost initially when a new coach comes in anyways, because the guys are trying to prove themselves and it's a different voice, so they're a little more excited. So we'll see how the season starts, but I expect all these boys to definitely bounce back. I mean, I shouldn't say this. It shouldn't get any worse than last year. I mean, that should be rock bottom for this core.
I'm gonna double knock on wood for that one. Oh my god.
It should. I said should. I didn't say it's impossible. Like, things could get worse. Like, there is that possibility.
They didn't finish dead last.
I'm holding on to hope that they should, for the most part, bounce back.
Who dis? Canucks have signed yet another slew of players, and let's not get too excited here. We'll quickly run through them. You've got Ben Berard, Zach Okabe, and Jonathan
Could be Okabe, could be just Okabe. He is from Alberta, so
yeah. And Jonathan Lemieux. So we signed another goalie, and I was like, why the hell are they signing another goalie? And then on top of that, we also have how do you even say this name, Dustin? Nikola Kinzov.
We'll call it Nizov or something. Knizov.
Nolan Walker and Derek Dashk, and then Jaden Lee. And Jaden Lee, I think, is the only one out of this one that I actually have any idea about who they are. But can you explain to everyone who's been seeing these signings happening, why are they, number one, why are they signing a goalie? And number two, what are all these signings happening?
So nobody panic. None of these guys are ever going to see the NHL. Every single one of these signings is a minor league deal. It's just Ryan Johnson filling in the holes of the guys that he lost from last year. Also filling in some holes at Kalamazoo. Jonathan Lemieux was the starting goalie ahead of Ty Young last year in Kalamazoo. So, and then later in the season, Ty Young kind of took over the role. So Jonathan Lemieux, being a little bit older than Ty Young, obviously re-signed as a veteran presence and might play a backup role this season going forward, with Ty Young then moving into the starter role, considering how well he played when he was pushed up to the AHL level and things like that. But none of these guys show up on the non-roster. So, Ben Berard, another ECHL guy, he did play 4 games with Abbotsford last year in a call-up when we were going through injury issues, but he's going back to Kalamazoo. And all the other guys are also either, I think the only one who might play for Abbotsford is Knizov. But pretty much everyone else is probably destined for the ECHL, Kalamazoo. And of note, do not Google Jaden Lee without putting hockey after his name. because you will not want to click on the very first link. I learned this earlier that apparently Jaden Lee is a very popular adult film star.
That's funny.
If you're looking for information on Jaden Lee, make sure you put hockey after it, or go straight to Hockey Database or Elite Prospects and then search their name.
I feel like Jaden Lee might be one of those guys who probably be one of the first call-ups too for Abbotsford if there's any kind of injuries or something like that, because he is a big boy, local boy too, so you never know. He might see, and even if he has a good camp, you might see him as one of the extra defensemen for Abbotsford next year.
Yeah, it'll depend on some of the development of the younger guys. Like if Sawyer Mignot makes the jump to the AHL level, then maybe Jaden Lee gets pushed even further down the depth pool. But it just depends on where some of these guys end up, what other moves Alvin makes this summer, because we do have a bit of logjam on the left side. So someone is going to have to move out, and maybe by signing Lee, that allows them a little more leeway to move maybe a Nikita Hirose or someone like that off the roster.
So we're gonna hop in and have a look at the stream schedule, because there is a whole bunch of things. But before we get into the stream schedule, the last graphic I wanted to show everyone that just came out as well, and this is essentially a graph that shows the change in schedules in strength versus last year. So every year there is one team that the Canucks will only play 3 games against in the Western Conference. That is the result of there being 32 teams in the league. So each one of these teams is rated based on who they're going to be playing against and how high their point totals were last year. So you can see the Canucks are way up here in the top right corner. This means that their schedule has gotten easier. So all good news for the Vancouver Canucks. As you can see, Dallas is actually off the chart down here because they will be playing one less game against Chicago and Nashville, who were 2 of the worst teams in the league last year. Seattle also getting harder. So a lot of the teams actually that the Canucks will be fighting with for playoff spots will be ending up with harder schedules, which is also a good thing to see, with the bottom 5 teams on this list all coming out of the Western Conference. So, and to see the Canucks so far up the other side is good to see.
You love to see it.
Yeah. So we're going to jump.
Especially when the other teams up there, like Anaheim, Utah, Chicago, like, you know, and then a bunch of Eastern Conference guys. So it's really great to see that.
Yeah. And I mean, Anaheim is a team that will be fighting with Utah as well. But like I've said on many of the streams so far, I don't think Anaheim is going to be as good as everybody thinks they're going to be. I think it's one of those putting too many new parts together. Year. Yeah. Give them another year, and then I'll talk about them as a potential playoff team. But right now it's still too early for their development cycle, I think.
Well, and if they do something stupid enough as to move Mason McTavish, they don't deserve to make the playoffs.
Correct. Ever. Yeah. Which they very might.
The fact his name's even out there is just crazy.
Give it to us. Give him us. Like, I don't.
Oh, yeah. In heartbeat.
So I wanted to run through this with you a little bit too, Dustin. So I've created this giant spreadsheet. So this is obviously I've already shown this. This is just the Canucks schedule, the Vancouver Canucks, because as we will see quickly, I've put both the schedule together, because we're going to have some fun with that. So the Vancouver Canucks, they've got their 6 preseason games. But that will be going down. This is the last time they'll be playing that many preseason games. So Swerve and Irvin donating, hot take: shouldn't the bad teams get better schedules? Kind of like how the draft works. I think they kind of do that in the NFL, but the NHL has never done that kind of thing. It is essentially just a rotation through the schedule. So no, I don't think they should get an easier schedule. What about you, Dustin?
No, I mean, I think it should be just the way they used to do it. I mean, they still do it kind of similar. You play 5 against your division, and then you play 1 home and home against every other team, and then the rest is kind of filled in within your conference, I believe.
Yeah.
Is how they still do it. So I mean, it's not really based on your skill or ability. It's just based off of your geographical location.
So I've taken the entire Canucks schedule and I've thrown it into this sheet. So this is obviously game 1. It's the October 9th against the Calgary Flames. They're going to be playing home, which is same thing that happened last year. This is not complete. This right here, this is how many kilometers they'll have to have traveled to get to their destination. So that's coming. There's your little sneak preview. It's 688 kilometers from Vancouver to Calgary. So we're going to do some more stuff with that. But what this sheet actually does is it actually breaks down how much time is in between each game, right? So we heard they have 13 back-to-backs, but what does that really mean? What that really means is that there's going to be 5 different occasions where the Canucks will have less than 1 day between their games. So that should be interesting because that is obviously a very tight turnaround between these. And then a lot of them too, right? You can see some of these are on the road too. So that's going to make it extra hard. Like they only have 23 hours between their game before they have to play the Boston Bruins in Vancouver, which makes it a little tougher for them. And then as you can see too, there's a whole bunch. Like this one wasn't technically counted as a back-to-back, this October 19th game, but it is a 9:30 game. They actually have less than 2 days in between it as a result of it being a 9:30 game. And the game before this, which you can't see right here, is actually a 5:30 game. So it's interesting to see. Again, another Eastern Conference team. So that seems to be the trend right there. And then the longest gap between games is 21 days, which is the result of the Olympic break. So that'll be where they'll be going to be able to get some rest and relaxation in there. And the next team they play right after the break is the Winnipeg Jets. But you can also see here, look at this right here. This is how many times they don't have a game like right back to back, right? Like we're talking like maybe a quarter of their schedule. The rest of the time is essentially 2 days between games. All the way through here, the majority of it's 2 days. So you can essentially expect the Canucks to be playing back-to-back games the entire year. Does that concern you a little bit, Dustin, with this team?
Not really. They're one of the younger teams in the league now. So realistically, it's just about conditioning. And, everyone has a condensed schedule this year because of the Olympic break.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not surprising that everything's so close together. Everyone's just going to have to suck it up and do their best to try and stay healthy, stay fit, and prepared. And realistically, when you look at some of the back-to-backs, like the distance the Canucks have to travel isn't crazy. With that one you were highlighting with the Boston Bruins, I mean, they're playing the night before at home against Seattle. So it's not like they have to travel in between those games. And the ones that they do have to travel in between are usually like 20-minute flights. I think the worst one was Colorado to Minnesota was the worst travel they have to do back to back. So overall, not a horrible schedule, but definitely going to be hard on the body for sure.
Yeah, which is why I'm just crossing my fingers. The main thing I'm concerned about is them and their goaltenders, because I feel like we talked about this last year. I literally want them to go Lankin and Demko, Lankin and Demko, Lankin and Demko. Like, just make that your schedule. That will be the way to create consistency with your goaltending. That's what I hope they do. So I'm crossing my fingers on that.
Well, and I think this year is the year to do it. Ease Demko back into his higher paid contract next season, and utilize Lankinen to his value, and try and get as many games out of him as you can at the 4.5.
We're not going to spend too much time. I do have the entire Abbotsford schedule in here. I haven't messed around with it as much, but you can see Calder Cup banner ceremony will be on Friday, October 24th, which we talked about. This one I put on here because I want to get your take on that. We got the Laval Rocket coming to Abbotsford in January at the 20th. Sammy Blais theoretically could be playing for the Laval Rocket. Do you think he's going to be on this Rocket team, or does he got enough to stick with the Montreal club?
I think he got his one-way contract with Montreal, if I'm not mistaken.
So it would have to be waivers to get him down there.
Yeah, they'd have to put him through waivers, and it obviously would depend on his play before he went on waivers. But if they tried to put him on waivers before the season even started, I think someone would pick him up, given the play he had in the offseason last year, or in the playoffs. So a well-earned contract. I don't foresee that happening unless his play really falls off a cliff, in which case he would probably make it through waivers, because then it's probably all chances over for Blais in the NHL. But I really think he's going to take this year that he got with the Canadiens and run with it. They got a young team. They need a veteran like him to kind of guide them and be a physical presence. Take a little bit of the physical heat off of Nick Suzuki, and he can focus more on his offensive play. And so I think I think Sammy was a really smart signing for them.
Yeah, that's why we put Sammy Blais ? This is the other funny one I saw. The Abbotsford Canucks playing at 1 p.m. at home. And it's like, oh, okay, it's family day. All right, fair enough. It's not too crazy, right?
Yeah. No, but it's good because it encourages the family to come out and watch the game, and prices are usually have like little ticket packages and stuff for days like that.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, it's funny too, just obviously with the way the schedule breaks down, there's pretty much you'll see the same teams over and over again because they essentially just play in the Pacific Division for the majority. You see the Manitoba Moose here, but the vast majority of these teams are all going to just be Pacific Division rivals because they play each team like 10 times each. It's pretty wild. So, yeah, Bakersfield 4 times, Calgary. Look at how many times they play Calgary.
Yep. Geographical, right? It's just easy travel, cheap travel.
So the last sheet we'll show you guys before we go. This is where things get really interesting. I always force people to watch
a lot of
spreadsheets.
yellow. Oh my god.
So this, oh my god. So this is the entire. I've got it color coded too. So if it's a Vancouver home game, it's blue because they wear blue at home. If it's an Abbotsford home game, they wear green because they wear green at home. So first things first, obviously, huge night, back-to-back nights to start the year, which is awesome. So we're gonna have a stream Thursday and Friday night. Both teams are going to be opening up. Abbotsford will be doing their season opener against the Henderson Silver Knights. And we might actually have somebody at that game live in Vegas. So that would be very cool. And then obviously the night before that, Calgary Flames. Do we expect to see the same result against the Flames where the Canucks will come out to a huge lead and then blow things in the third period?
I hope not. I hope we see a huge lead, but with less of the blowing.
Yeah. Vander Kane's first game back in Edmonton earlier in the season, very early in the season. Pius Suter returns. We're going to be live for this game. So this is the Calder Cup ceremony game. That'll be on a Friday night against the Ontario Reign. So that'll be fun. And then Dustin, look at this. The first.
It's just so much yellow.
So we got the first doubleheader. So this is what I've been talking about. We literally have the Canucks, Abbotsford Canucks playing at 3, and then the Vancouver Canucks playing at 7. So we will literally be doing a doubleheader with just Canucks. And we're going to do it again. And again. And again. And again and again. And again. And again. And again. And again. There is going to be 10 double headers this season that is going to be all Vancouver Canucks and Abbotsford Canucks. How does that make you feel?
So when do I start getting paid? Forget Dobby's college fund.
I know, right?
It's this stretch, January 10th to January 21st. That is wild.
Yep. Yeah. So this is, and I have not actually decided whether or not I will actually do this, but theoretically, starting with the 7th doubleheader, we could do 14 games in 12 days and not have a break in any of the days, right? We're talking literally January 10th, there is no gap. 10th, 11th, 12th, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. There's 2 games literally playing at the same time, which I normally wouldn't do, but it seems like the right time to do that if it's the first time that we do that. So yeah, there's a very real chance that could be a very busy month, but we'll see what happens with that one.
Yeah.
Seelov's coming home. Will Seelov's be starting this game for the Pittsburgh Penguins against the Vancouver Canucks at 3 p.m. on January 25th?
I mean, considering the only NHL goalie on their roster in the offseason was Tristan Jarry, there's a pretty good chance that, yes, Shelovs is starting that game or at least backing up.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a good chance we'll see him at least in some capacity. The other one obviously was the Olympic break here. So we do have the Olympic break where it is just Abbotsford playing. I don't know how many of these Abbotsford games we'll cover because obviously we'll be covering Team Canada during that, but we'll see what happens. Family Day. Oh yeah, this is Family Day. No, this isn't Family Day. I think that's Family Day in Alberta or something like that. They have a different Family Day than us or something like that. I might just be tripping too, though.
think you're tripping. I think that's the same day you had marked off when we looked at the
it's very
just
possible.
the Abbotsford schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No.
There's just so much to look at.
Yeah. I know. There's
so
much going.
spreadsheet.
And then we got the last 2 games of the season. So we'll absolutely be live for both of the last games of the season for sure. So the last game of the season for the Canucks will be on the 16th of April, and then the 19th for the Abbey Canucks. So we'll be live for both of those as well. But the Coles Notes is we'll be live for every single Vancouver Canucks game for sure. But this year we're going to put in a little bit more effort to try and sprinkle in a little bit more Abbotsford Canucks content for you guys as well.
Yes, sir. We are here for your Canucks content pleasure.
Swerve and Irvin. Russ, don't gamble your marriage on the schedule. Fair enough, right? Yeah. So, yeah, it will be interesting though. And I mean, at the end of the day, the amount of people that we brought onto the show, there's a lot of support that we have. So there's going to be a lot of different content creators and stuff like that coming on to support the show, especially. And I mean, even like, oh, well, I actually didn't. One last time looking at this. So home opener, and then the Calder Cup opening ceremony. But here as well, you can see it goes Friday's the Calder Cup. Saturday, we've got a game. Then we've got a doubleheader on the Sunday. And then, so we're going to essentially be covering all of those games as well, including these Vancouver games. So only in October as well, you're going to see, I think it's like 7 games in 8 days in October. So that's going to be one way to start the season off with a bang for sure.
Absolutely. We are also rapidly approaching episode 100 of the Rusty and Dusty Sideshow. So that'll be another milestone to celebrate here soon.
He's like 94 or something like that today, or 95, something like that.
Yep, we're getting close.
Dustin, are you doing any vacation for the summer? Are you getting out of town at all? Any golf tournaments coming up?
Actually, August 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, I'll be up in Kamloops for the Canadian All Abilities Championship. So that's the adaptive golf championship for all of Canada. And actually, the field is quite big this year. I think we're up to 50 now for the field to play. So, and I think they're limited to 54. So it's almost completely sold, completely full.
Very cool. Somebody liked your hat, Dustin. KJ Brazy in the chat. Does your hat fit your head?
I had to open it like pretty far. Like normally I'm like a perfect all the tabs closed.
Yeah.
And they like snapbacks perfectly fit, but this one I had to go like 3 wide. It's pretty tight.
Yeah.
But I love the material. Like I love how it's like sweatpant material. Like it's a really well-made hat. Like CCM did a good job. But
I do like it.
Yeah.
And
the one size fits all is a pretty broad statement when they're not going to fit many people bigger head than me, and I don't have a very big head. So
yeah, it definitely. I have to go down. I would go down to 1 tab and it didn't feel so weird, but I think I can barely fit it on with 2 tabs. So it's tight, but it works.
There you go.
Dusty, is there anything you want to say to the chat before I let you go?
I hope everyone is enjoying the heck out of their summer. Thanks as always for stopping by and watching these 2 crazy guys talk about Canucks stuff in the middle of the heat. Nothing majorly exciting happening. Obviously, we're hoping for that maybe a Bluger trade or something to go down, and then we'll have more to talk about. But enjoy the rest of your summers. Enjoy any vacations you have. Appreciate the comments, questions, and everything as always. And have a great rest of your weekend.
Austin, thank you very much for stopping by. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a great night, Russ, and we will and enjoy your vacation.
Nothing is perfect.